Oh, you get that hi-hat.
All right, welcome back to the I Love Annuities podcast. I'm Jeremiah Conger.
And I am Zachary Van Ness. Together we are the Annuity Dudes.
The Annuity Dudes. All right, well, we're back for another exciting episode here, Zach. I just want to take a moment, man, and just really thank our audience and the feedback that we've been getting out there since we started this this little venture here. Ultimately, our mission has always been to bring more transparency to this antiquated industry and create more trust and confidence in people's ability to assess the marketplace and buy these annuities based on their understanding of them, and more or less make it feel where they know exactly what they're buying and what they're getting for their hard-earned money versus feeling like they're being sold something. And the feedback that we've been getting since we started this back in February has been very positive. And just want to take a moment to say thank you because it's amazing what you can do these days with platforms like YouTube and Facebook and all the others, and be able to get information out there that can really help the masses. So just want to take a moment, say thank you for the feedback. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and that we're very humbled and honored to be able to do this. Since it means a lot to us, and we're very passionate about changing this industry for the better.
Yeah, and I'll answer the phone sometimes when they call into the 800 number, and the amount of phone calls that we get that come in, hey, found you from the podcast. Just love hearing it and knowing that we're adding value. And some folks will come into these meetings with their checklists created with points that we've already hit up on these podcasts, and folks doing research on their own. Just really, that's the ultimate goal. Provide the education so that you can do research on your own and come into this world with a concept that, hey, I've got some knowledge behind me, and I want to continue my education.
Absolutely. Yeah, that means a lot when you hear, the stuff that we're putting out there and it's actually making a difference. So just want to say thank you for that. But back to our episode today, it's going to be big. As a matter of fact, it's going to be huge, in fact. So because we're diving into why 2025, this year, is shaping up to be the biggest year in annuity sales history. We're talking about record-breaking sales, massive demographic shifts, and why so many retirees are finally saying, yes, I want guaranteed income.
Yeah, if you're nearing retirement or already there, this episode could literally change how you think about income planning. So feel free to grab a pen, take some notes like so many of other clients have done. This will be a packed show.
Yeah, and the idea behind this episode, really, and I was sharing this with Zach earlier, is ultimately to address the question or the objection sometimes that we get, or feedback that we get, like, man, these sound really good. Why aren't more people buying these? And the fact is that people are. You just may not know about it. So there are data collectors out there in our industry that assess the marketplace from a transaction perspective, and they gather data to see, how many of these annuities are being sold and how much investment or premium dollars are being put into these products. And that's actually what we're going to start with here in our segment number one. And that is the record breaking sales trajectory that we are on and have been on for a number of years. So there's no better saying than numbers don't lie. So to address the question out there, why aren't people buying annuities? Well, they are. And they are in large quantities or large amounts. So let's start with the recent headline here. This is from our friends over at LIMRA. It is one of the associations that collects sales and transaction data for annuity products. And they have communicated in their most recent report that annuity sales rather hit 432.4 billion in 2024. And in 2025, we're keeping up with that pace with over 100 billion in a new annuity contract sold just in the first quarter alone.
Yeah, which is insane. So that's 6 consecutive quarters of over $100 billion in annuities. So we're not just breaking records, we're smashing them.
Oh yeah.
Soundboard now, baby.
We're getting really tech savvy here at Annuity Association of Annuities podcast. We have some sound effects now. It's not just one type of annuity, though, in that record breaking number. It's including fixed indexed annuities, multi year guaranteed annuities, the MIGA, and even registered index linked annuities, RILAs, RILA. They're also seeing massive growth. And the question really is why? And that can be summarized in one word, and that is certainty. And I'll add a second word, and that's guarantees. People buy annuities because of the contractual guarantees, which therefore provide that certainty.
A lot of conversations that we're having right now is around volatility, and the resounding response that we're getting right now is that people are tired of that volatility and tired of the inflation eating away at the savings, and most of all, tired of not knowing if their money will last.
Yeah. So when you add in, volatility, you add in inflation, you add in all of the unknowns and uncontrollables of the markets, you add in the fact that these markets today, because of the access to information at our fingertips, is uber sensitive. Literally one um, false report about something regarding the economy or the market, or even a factual report, or even a statement about potentially, impacts regarding political change and all of that, they can have an immediate impact on the markets and how they respond. So having, all of these unknowns and uncontrollables and all of these, this, I don't know, roller coaster effects on the markets, it's not comfortable. And, we have to, one thing that I urge our team to do when we're meeting with prospective clients is we have to urge to put ourselves into our clients' shoes. And I couldn't imagine retiring or getting close to retirement and logging into my accounts and seeing whatever that balance is, and then knowing that at any given moment, if I'm invested in a riskier way than maybe I have a tolerance for or should be, knowing that any given moment, if something happens or like some tweet goes out or whatever you want to call it, and it sends the markets tumbling down, that has a direct impact on my retirement and whether or not I can truly retire at the date I envisioned, or if I have to adjust my retirement lifestyle because I may potentially have less money. Having that uncertainty in the mix just causes a wave of emotions. And I just couldn't imagine being in that situation. So that's where proper planning and utilization of optimized tools in your plan, which annuities are, and that's one thing I'm an advocate for, is it does optimize the plan. It's scientifically and mathematically proven and economically proven to do that when used appropriately, especially for guaranteed income. And so that's where I believe, the proper planning, the education around the right products to use for what in your retirement plan, I think that's where it becomes essential. And that's really what we are passionate about, is bringing that education to the markets. And that's the purpose of this podcast.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that'll, did you have something there, Zach?
No, you're good. That was great.
Cool. So that's where, we really want to take a look at how are these annuity sales records occurring and why. And that would be in large part due to the term Peak 65, which our friends over at the Alliance of Lifetime Income, or Alliance for Lifetime Income, which is a nonprofit 401c3 organization around annuity education and retirement income planning. They've coined this term, the Peak 65, and it's a demographic wave. And that's ultimately what is really creating these record annuity sales numbers. And the Alliance for Lifetime Income has coined this phenomenon, the Peak 65, and that's for good reason. And that's basically indicating from now on to 2027, more than 4.1 million Americans will turn 65 every year. And so that averages out to around 11,200 people per day entering traditional retirement age.
Yeah, when we think about that, that's just a crazy number. 11,200 people per day entering retirement age. So really eye popping when we see that number. But when we dive in a little bit deeper, what's also more eye popping is that 51% of these peak 65 households have less than $100,000 in investable assets.
Yeah, that's right. And only 33% of them, of these peak 65 people, feel financially confident heading into retirement. So that means nearly 7 in 10 of these new retirees are entering one of the most critical life phases without a solid financial foundation. And it's very sobering to hear.
Yeah. So if we take that a step deeper, the study found that 49% are already drawing Social Security, and nearly don't half don't believe their assets will last through retirement. So it's a big longevity risk that we need to factor into this, and that's where the annuities can help cover some of that ground.
Exactly. And you have to understand, this baby boomer generation, a lot of them have gone through their working careers without the opportunity for a pension. That's the dinosaur in the room, right? Is the pension. So without a pension, many of these retirees are essentially on their own to generate income. And annuities offer a way to create guaranteed lifetime income, acting like a personal pension that they can't outlive. And that's huge. And in other words, what you're essentially doing with incorporating a guaranteed lifetime income annuity into your plan is you're removing the risk from your balance sheet. That 401k or IRA that you've been growing over your working career. You're removing the risk of being responsible for generating retirement income for the rest of your life and your spouse's life for that matter. And you're shifting that risk over to the insurance company's balance sheet. You're making them responsible for providing you guaranteed lifetime income, and that's where the keyword guaranteed comes in. Is only the insurance company can guarantee that. No single person or investment advisor can guarantee an income stream, but insurance companies can, and they do that contractually. And I think that's the most um, empowering shift is that when you have that contractual guarantee, it gives you that peace of mind, that clarity, the confidence, and ultimately the certainty that your essential expenses in retirement will be covered majority by guaranteed lifetime income, whether that's annuities and pensions and social security, or a combination of those three.
Yeah, it's really a big shift too, right? So it's not just the financial shift that we're seeing, but for this generation, it's a generational shift. So the demand for reliable income is really colliding with the biggest retirement wave in U.S. history.
Yeah, so it's a monumental shift, like you just said, Zach, and I really believe, it's just it's crazy to think, right? Like these people are retiring in this really historical bull run too in the markets. So there's a lot of recency bias still out there that, you know, the markets are going to keep going up, 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 and that's just what they do now. Um, some people think that, some people don't. A lot of economists don't think that long term either. So, um, it's kind of crazy. I had a call with a gentleman. He's an existing client. He's owned an annuity from us for this. He's going on his fourth year, and he's done pretty well in it. It's actually a growth FIA, a fixed indexed annuity. It doesn't have a lifetime income rider. But during our annual review, which was earlier this week, he asked me. His name's Bob. He's like Jeremiah. He's like, this annuity is doing okay for me, and I'm happy with it. But he's like, man, looking at the rest of my portfolio, the S&P is just, it's done over 10% a year for the last 10 years. And that's true. Like, well, I'm not doubting that. And I agreed with him. But when you use that recency bias and you use it to influence your decisions today that impact your future, that can lead to one of the major emotions of investing, and that is regret. Um, if something does happen where the markets have a correction, a major correction, and things come tumbling down, I asked him, how would that make you feel and what would you do in that moment? And we ended up uncovering more information to help him with the decision of whether he should be more aggressive or not. And he has an adult child who is disabled, and he's getting up there in age. And his concern is if and when he passes, he wants to make sure there's enough assets to take care of his adult child that is disabled. And I said, well, look, I totally get that, but really the scenario you need to play in your head is how much how much risk are we willing to take to get some reward? And what happens if we get too much risk and then it happens to be timed with you passing away?
Mhm.
Would your daughter be okay with less assets?
Yeah.
And he said, well, no, I want to make sure that she has as much as possible. I said, I understand. And that's where you have to think, not just what the last 10 years have done, but what if you retired? What if this scenario unfolded in the year 2000, which was another, monumental peak bull market with the tech boom, but then things came tumbling down 2001, 2 and 3, and you retired in that 10-year period, and you ended up passing away for some reason too. That entire 10-year decade is known as the lost decade. We've talked about it in the past. And that's where the markets didn't grow at all for 10, I think it's actually 12 straight years from when they dropped until when they broke even again. So he's like, man, he's like, that's why I love having these conversations with you, because you help me really, get it. You really help me think holistically and from both ends of the spectrum. And long story short, he decided that, hey, he's comfortable where he is. If he can get a 6% return, maybe 7% of return, and be less risky to get that. I told him, I was like, your money will double if you get a 7% return. Your money's going to double about every 11 or 12 years if you do the rule of 72.
Mhm.
So I said, you've got let's say $1 million now. If you can get let's say 7% for the next 11 or 12 years, that's going to be 2 million bucks, right? And that's a lot of money. And he's like, no, I totally agree. I'm good with where we're at. So, those are the things you have to really pan out and determine whether or not you should be more risky. And when things are going up, 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 the other emotion of investing comes out, and that is greed. And that is, we always want more. And sometimes that's not the best answer because we don't know when those things come down, and they will, and they always do. It's just when and how long it lasts.
Yeah, and ultimately, the tool of the annuity is to provide a solution, or to be there as a problem solver for whatever that problem might be for somebody. So it sounds like for this client, he's got some money still in the market,
He
and
does.
that annuity, yeah. So that annuity is one of the tools on his financial tool belt. It's not everything on that tool belt. So it serves
That's
that specific purpose of what he needs it to do. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, ultimately, what that annuity is doing in his plan it's on the spectrum of the safer assets. So it has a
Sure.
guarantee of principal protection. So that portion of money is shielded from any significant market drops. He could never lose a dollar there. But when you look at it from a holistic perspective, he's got his risk assets, which are in the markets. They're tied to the S&P, a majority of them. And when you take the total assets in the markets and then that are in the annuities, and he's got some money markets and things, he's about 60-40, maybe 70-30 risk to safety. And that's where he should be. And that's where his risk tolerance aligns. So once we kind of evaluated it all from that perspective, he felt comfortable and he's like, hey, I'm good. No, we're good right where we're at. So that's really ultimately what it should do is your balance between risk and safe assets should be in a position where if we did hit that worst case scenario, what would that downturn and the loss of in your assets, how would that make you feel, and would you be able to sleep at night?
Mhm.
And if you're going to lose sleep at night, it's not worth it, because in your retirement, these are your golden years. You should be stress free for the most part. Now, that's not obviously realistic in life, but you should have minimal stress in those years. And you need to make sure that your portfolio aligns with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point.
So let's talk about why these what other impacts are causing these annuity sales numbers in record in records record setting numbers, I should say. So that is interest rates, and why timing is also key when it comes to purchasing annuities. So this annuity boom, a lot of it's because annuity rates are at a peak as well. So when you take these annuity rates, and I'm telling you, they're higher than we've seen in over a decade, that's just going to mean that these guaranteed income annuity payouts are even more attractive than they once were.
Yeah. So if we look at something like, you had mentioned fixed index annuities. Right now, we're seeing higher cap rates than we've seen before, higher participation rates than we've seen before. When we look at an annuity type like a multi-year guaranteed annuity, or also known as a fixed rate annuity, we're still same answer. We're still seeing the highest rates that we've seen before. So in a product like that, where we have a guaranteed rate of return between 5 and 6% compound interest guaranteed, it's more than a lot of dividends are paying in stocks, and it's guaranteed. There's no question marks. There's no maybes. Contractual guarantee.
This guy was good. This guy.
Oh,
So for retirees who want growth without the roller coaster or income they can count on, it's ultimately hard to beat today's annuity environment because of these higher rates.
yeah, especially if you lock it in before rates were to adjust. And we fortunate enough to be in a great environment right now with where the rates are. So we're seeing a lot of our clients recognize that and capitalizing on it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about now the psychological shift and why retirees are saying yes now. So for years, annuities had an image problem. We've talked about that in episodes past where, there's all these misconceptions and annuity bashers and a lot of bias out there from investment advisors and broker dealers and you name it. There's a lot of negative things out there saying these products are too complex. There's too many aggressive sales tactics. They're too highly feed. Da 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 da. The list goes on. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's all hogwash. Watch our previous episodes where we address all of those misconceptions. And ultimately, I think because of institutions like the Alliance for Lifetime Income, we have our friends over at the National Association of Fixed Annuities. They're putting out educational content to help change that narrative and address those misconceptions, and that's really been huge.
Yeah, and really the modern buyer today is well educated, and part of the reason you founded this company was to provide that education and see a change in this annuity landscape and in this world. So most clients that we're working with are doing research on their own, using comparison tools and coming to the table well informed. And thankfully, we're seeing a shift in the annuity world with that.
Yeah, and that's where that psychological shift is happening because retirees don't want a big pile of money. They want predictable income, peace of mind, and permission to spend. And that's something that, we've talked about putting on a t-shirt, right? Is not cash is king, it's income is king. That's the answer in retirement is income, and not just any income, predictable, guaranteed lifetime income.
Yeah, and Michael Fink said it best, and we actually made an episode about this with guaranteed income gives you the license to spend, and that's when we had our little James
James
Bond
Bond,
homage. Yeah,
Jimmy Bond.
right. And it's really just the value that people are waking up to.
Yeah.
I hear that music.
So that leads us to our one of our final segments here, and that's how to take advantage of this annuity boom without getting burned. So the market's booming, annuity rates are at all-time highs. Maybe you're fixing to retire soon or have already retired recently. And you want to make sure that this annuity that you might look at actually benefits you and doesn't have an opposite or adverse effect.
Yeah. So how do we evaluate that? How do we get to the point where we're making sure we're making the best financial decision for a tool on that financial tool belt? And part of the way that we do it at Annuity Association is We'll use our multi-point annuity inspection. And we use that in several different ways. It may be one annuity type that's there for the purpose of income. Maybe you're looking at growth, safe market growth. But we have an inspection point that we use for that as well. So several different inspections that we use in this process so that we can determine the right annuity type for you and really help you determine that yourself. So it's a collaborative effort that we take. It's not just me making a decision for an individual. It's us finding out what's most important for that person.
That's huge. All
You don't
right.
have a sound clip for that?
I was trying. You knew what I was doing, didn't you?
I knew it.
I got another one. I had to upload it real quick. Here it comes. This is based on Zach's last line there.
Perfect. Perfect.
Remember,
Perfect.
you know what that's from?
Is that NBA Jam?
No, I think that one's from Street Fighter.
Oh, nice.
You know, when you would go flawless in your
we
match.
need the He's on Fire.
Oh man, I'm gonna get that one right now. That'll actually tie into here. So ultimately what we're talking about here is don't just buy the hottest annuity of the month, right? Make sure that it actually aligns with your goals, your timeline, and your health situation. And really, if you're working with the right person, they should be a true expert in understanding what matters most to you, what's important to you now and into the future, and not only for you, but also for your spouse and for your family. And they should be guiding you down the path of understanding to help identify the products specifically within the annuity marketplace that are going to align with those goals and those desires and wants.
Yeah, and really speaking to Jeremiah's point of not buying the hottest annuity of the month, there are some times where we'll see a shift of who's more aggressive with the guaranteed payouts or guaranteed options, and we don't want to be forced into a situation or put ourselves at risk in a situation where we're compromising what's important to us. Some clients will come in and say, "Hey, it's important that I have an A+ rated carrier that's backing me." Well, if we happen to see an income that's giving us $20 extra a month and they don't meet your criteria, there's no reason to sacrifice that. So part of that multi-point inspection that we use plays into that. And really what we're talking about is just sitting down, speaking to an expert, finding out what's most important for you, taking a look at the illustrations, whether that's the non-guaranteed element, which we actually prefer to lean on the guarantees that come with these annuity policies, taking a look at multiple carriers. And this is ultimately your retirement that we're talking about. So it's a matter of taking time with it, not rushing to any final decisions.
He's on fire!
There it is.
That used to be one of my favorite games, man. I
Did
actually had it on
Steve
my
Kerr and
cell
Scottie
phone for a
Pippen?
while.
What's that?
Yeah. I actually had that game. You can download it on the App Store.
Oh,
And I
yeah?
had it on my phone, my cell phone, and I'd play it once in a while.
Oh, man.
And then I showed it to my daughter, Isla, and she's like, "Daddy, why are you playing with stick figures?" Because, video games are like so advanced now.
Yeah, yeah. It's one step up from Pong. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Shout out to Atari.
That's right.
Anyways, so that's going to be a wrap for us. So what should someone do now if they're interested in taking a serious look at annuities in the marketplace and maybe incorporating them into their plan? We've already identified that, today in 2025, this is the year of the annuity boom. So if you've been sitting on the fence, now is definitely the time to take some action. And the window of high interest rates won't last forever. As we've shared on previous episodes, annuity rates are correlated to the interest rate environment. So if old JP at the Fed decides to lower rates, which Trump's been pushing for quite a while. I was listening to something the other day and Trump was talking about Jerome Powell. And he basically straight up said that, basically his verbatim words were like, Jerome Powell, he's like, that guy, he's a real idiot, that guy. Like he literally called him an idiot. He's a stupid guy. He's a very stupid guy. That's what he said.
Zero filter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you want help comparing, taking a look at the marketplace of annuities, comparing options side by side, having a true evaluation from somebody who has your best interest at heart, that's really what we're here to do. I hate to brag too much, but if you check out our Better Business page, I think that proves what our focus is, really looking out for our clients' needs and what's most important to them.
Yeah, for sure. We're very happy to have a 5-star A+ accredited rating on the Better Business Bureau. There's a lot of pay to play review sites out there. I'm not going to name them, but there's a lot of them out there that some of our competitors are even using and trying to tout that they have all these like 5-star reviews. Those are all paid for. BBB is not. So every review that we've ever gotten, those are authentic. They're genuine, and they even mention sometimes the advisor's name that they worked with, and they share their true experience. So we're very happy and proud of that. It's something that we believe in, and sharing more transparency about us as an organization, and sharing, past clients' experiences. I think that's important to note there. So we're very honored to have that rating, and we're passionate and humbled to have it, and we're going to continue maintaining it to the best of our ability. So if you're interested in finding out more information, or you'd like to request a free annuity report with rates, insights on income payouts, etc., you can, in the description of the show here, or somewhere in the show notes, wherever you're watching this, you can click the direct link there. It'll take you to a series of questions on a form. That way we can get a custom report tailored and curated specific to your situation. If you're ready to buy an annuity and you just want to go ahead and speak with one of our senior annuity advisors, such as Zach, you can also click the direct link there, and it will take you to a calendar setup where you can specifically request what day and time, and then it'll create a Zoom meeting for you and someone like Zach to meet with. So other than that, anything else that we need to add here, Zach?
I'm sure there's some kind of sound clip you can add in, but other than that, no.
This guy was good.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of the I Love Annuities podcast. My name is Jeremiah Conger.
I am Zach Van Ness, and we are the Annuity
Dudes. Signing off. Thanks so much. That was my favorite part. I'm always off.